I got an email on my husband's iPad. It said the water in his apartment was going to be shut down for repairs, but we own a house. My husband is on a trip with one of our sons and his brother to go visit their mother, my son's grandmother. I was cleaning up the den when an email notification popped up on his iPad. It was an email from an apartment complex saying that they were going to be temporarily closing down the hot water for repairs, sent from one of those automatic senders that you can't reply to. It was addressed to my husband, with his first and last name. The thing is, we own our house. We haven't rented in over 10 years, and even then, it wasn't this place. Where my husband is, upstate NY, there isn't any service. I tried to send him a picture of the email, but it wouldn't go through. I called him and spoke to him for a bit. The service was choppy, but I managed to explain to him about the email, and basically all he said was that it must be a mistake and they had the wrong email. We weren't able to say much before the call just dropped, but if it was the wrong email, how would they have his first and last name, all spelled correctly? For context, his first name is somewhat common, but our last name isn't common, especially in this area. There weren't any other emails from this sender or about this apartment complex in my husband's emails, but he is also the kind who clears out his inbox as he gets messages. I sent a message to the apartment complex telling them that I think my husband was on their email list by mistake, but I just got an automatic email sent back, that they were out of the office until 10/20, and then general rent information pricing, 1 bedroom $1,600, 2 bedroom $1,900, and that there were no open units available. There was no unit number on the email, but the complex is about 15 minutes away from our house, so I went and drove by. Which I guess might be a little crazy, I know. I didn't see anything, not like I knew what to expect. It's a group of buildings. Less than 100 apartments in all. I don't have any reason to mistrust my husband other than this weird email that gives me a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach. As well as a general feeling of paranoia that he's just been bored with me. I've been feeling this way for a little while, but he insists I'm imagining it and that he's happy. I only brought it up to him once, when I was feeling particularly insecure last year. We still do things together, he still tells me he loves me, etc. I just feel like he doesn't have as much fun with me as he used to, and like he looks for reasons to be out of the house or doing things specifically with the boys instead of doing things with the whole family. It's not like it's something that bothers me every day, just something that I think about when I'm feeling insecure or paranoid, like in a situation like this where he gets an email from random apartment complexes, lol. Anyway, I don't know exactly what advice I'm looking for. I know the advice I would have for one of my friends would be to just talk to him, but I really can't do that until he comes home on Saturday, which is a really long time for me to sit with my intrusive thoughts. Edit. He never lived here in the past. He lived with his parents until college, then lived in a dorm, and then every place he rented was with me. We've been dating since we were 19. Edit 2. The email wasn't a phishing scam. It was a legitimate email from the email address on the apartment complex's website. All of the information included in the email letterhead matched the information on the apartment complex's website. And if it was a phishing scam, I assume they would have been looking for information. This email wasn't looking for anything, it was just an informational email about the water. Update. My best friend called the emergency maintenance number and said that she was a delivery driver who had over $100 worth of food for, and said my husband's name, but said he had forgotten to fill in his apartment number. The guy didn't speak English very well, but after she repeated herself a few times, he eventually said his name and then gave us an apartment number. Update 2. Sorry about the late update. My post was locked by the time I got to it. I'm currently writing this on the ride upstate. Yesterday I posted about an email I had gotten on my husband's email from an apartment complex talking about fixing the water. My husband, who is upstate visiting his mother until Saturday, has next to no cell service, so I haven't been able to talk to him about any of this other than saying that the email must have been a mix-up. My friend called and got his apartment number from the maintenance man. Both of us went over to the apartment, and my friend knocked. A girl answered but didn't answer the door, just the bell camera. My friend said she was there looking for Adam. The girl said that Adam wasn't there but wouldn't give her more information than that, which I get. My friend was just a total stranger at her door. When we left, I could see her looking out the apartment window at us. I tried to call my husband 1,000 times yesterday, but nothing went through. The few times the call did pick up, the service was so bad you could barely hear anything. So I'm headed upstate to confront him in person. I have a copy of the email, as well as a photo of the apartment, as well as a recording of the girl saying that Adam wasn't there, which is a confirmation to me that she knows him. If this is somehow all a big misunderstanding, I'm going to have my husband explain it to me in person instead of waiting until he comes home. I haven't gotten a chance to read all the comments, but I will go through them now and try to respond to what I can. I haven't slept, so I hope this makes sense. Edit. To everyone telling me that I should just wait, not confront him, talk to her first. He's my husband, he's the father of my children. If I'm going to find out that he's cheating on me, it is going to be from him. I'm going to say this for the last time. Please stop advising me not to go talk to my husband about this very serious situation that we are in. I will go talk to a lawyer if need be. However, we have been married for over a decade, we have a family and a life together. I am going to go talk to him. I understand what the situation probably is. I understand that he's probably going to try to lie to me. I'm not a moron. Final update. I'm writing this from a hotel room. I went to confront my husband. He knew the minute my car pulled up what was going on. He came outside to meet me, and the first thing he said was, "Did you go to the apartment?" And I told him, "Yeah." So then he said, "So, I guess we have to have a talk," and again, I said yeah. I'm not going to get into the exact details of it. It was a long talk, and it involved a lot of emotions. She is his girlfriend. They've been together for 4 months. She is under the impression that we are separated and going through the divorce process. His family wasn't aware of this. His brother and mother, who were there, were horrified. I'm sorry I don't have more to say. I've already contacted a divorce lawyer, a therapist, and a financial advisor. Thanks to everyone for their support.
My sister wants her husband to be in the room with us while I'm in labor. I'm her surrogate. I, 30F, told my sister, 34F, that I don't feel comfortable with her husband being in the room while I give birth to their child. My sister's been engaged to her husband for about 6 years now, and ever since she was a teen she's always expressed the want to have a family. About 3 years ago my sister found out she was infertile after trying for a kid for over a year. This was obviously devastating for her, and as her sister I felt horrible. Maybe a year ago she had started seeking out surrogates, but after being unsuccessful she resorted to asking me. At first I was hesitant, but as her sister I hated to see her so desperate for a child, so I told her I'd be open and willing with no expense. I want to make it clear that I've never had any issues with her husband, but I made it very clear to my sister before I became her surrogate that I do not want any men in the room during labor, as I was a previous SA victim in which I was taken advantage of by multiple men while purposely put under the influence, which was extremely traumatic and am still recovering. My sister had agreed to having her husband wait outside, and so I was okay with it as well. But, about a month before my due date her husband called and asked me if I'd requested him not to be in the room during child labor. I had explained to him that I did and that it was no personal issues I had with him, and that having any men around me during a state of vulnerability like child labor would be extremely triggering. He quickly got mad and said that I don't have the right nor the say in determining whether or not he as the father can be in the room. I told him I wouldn't change my mind and that even though it was his kid, that I was the one giving birth. He continued to scream at me and abruptly hung up. Later on in the day my sister had came to my house, accusing me of disrespecting her husband and saying that after a lot of thinking she thought it to be unfair and ignorant to ban her husband from seeing me give birth to their child. I then yelled at her, telling her that it was cruel and selfish how she was willing to let her husband in the room after knowing everything I had gone through previously with assault. She then basically told me that after her baby was born she'd stop talking to me for good. It's now currently 2 weeks before my due date and I'm still very persistent on not having any men in the room, and quite frankly I'm fine with not speaking to my sister if she continues to be close-minded. Am I the a-hole?
I asked for a DNA test, and it ruined my marriage. My 32M, wife 31F, gave birth to our newborn baby 3 months ago and I thought things were fine, however my wife did not. 2 months in my wife approached me saying that she was exhausted from taking care of the baby alone and she asked me why I wasn't helping. I told her that I thought I was helping, but she pointed out that I never get up at night, I never get the baby while it's crying, never change the baby, or do anything. After some talking I admitted that I was apprehensive about helping and she asked why. I thought it was going to cause a fight so I tried to change the subject. She told me that I should just tell her because if I didn't she was going to her parents' house for help until she went back to work. I didn't want that so I told her that I wanted a DNA test. She said she wished I would have told her this when she found out she was pregnant. I didn't understand that, but she agreed to it. She didn't seem mad or upset, she just said that I could set it up and we'd get it done because she didn't make the baby alone so she shouldn't have to care for it alone. We did the test and when we got the results back I told her and showed them to her. She didn't say anything about it, she just asked if I felt safe enough to help now. I said yes. Soon after that I noticed her behavior started to change with me and my family. Everything changed and she started staying in different parts of the house. Parts 1 wasn't in at the time. I finally asked her about it recently and she said that she lost all respect for me. She said she spent 10 years of her life with me faithfully just for me to slap her in the face with a DNA test request. I explained that I didn't think she had been unfaithful but I just needed to be sure. She said she's trying to work through it but everything I say sounds moronic to her and we should just leave it where it is. I thought if I showed her videos and had her listen to podcasts about DNA tests she'd understand, but after the last one she said she was going to stay with her parents. I don't know what's happening or how to fix it. She wasn't even mad when I asked for it. I feel like she isn't hearing what I'm saying. It isn't that serious and if she could just understand my perspective I think she'll adjust hers. She's not even against DNA tests so I'm unsure as to what her